Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Puma double disc.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Right, so this shoe is ridiculously expensive, coming in at $175. Are you kidding me, Puma? Like, are you serious? You guys are just getting back into the game and you guys are charging 175 bucks for this, you know? I feel like it's a little expensive, but I mean, they do have really cool technology on this, so I guess it's a little justified. But I mean, they have a few colorways available. They have a lot of sizes available. They don't have half sizes apparently, which sucks, but if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get started right off with the tracciones, right? So the traction in this shoe is ridiculously hard, right? If you feel the rubber is very, very thick. The grooves are very deep, and it feels like it's going to be super durable even for like constant everyday outdoor use, which is a good thing. And they say on their website that this is a high abrasion resistant outsole rubber. The pattern is pretty chaotic. I would say it's more of like a its own kind of pattern, and then we have a little bit of a circle. It's kind of where, like, you know, pivot circle usually is. So how does it feel on my wood floors? It feels pretty good, you know. There's a nice high-pitched squeak. It stops pretty well. So traction, I feel like it's going to be very, very good and durable, but obviously we're going to have to test that out. But right now it feels pretty good. All right, as far as the heel to toe transition goes, it feels okay. You know, here in the heel we have a little bit of a curve shape, so that's not bad, you know, and a little bit of heel compression. Here in the forefoot though, look at how flat it is, man. It's so damn flat. So it feels like it's going to be a little bit of a slapper. But the forefoot flex is pretty nice. But for my first impressions, I feel like it's going to be pretty good, but then it's going to be a little bit of a slapper, you know? All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So they're using full length Pro Foam, and it feels okay, you know, like here in the heel, as you guys can see, it's pretty damn thick. And you can feel it a little bit, you know, there's a little bit of compression, and it feels like there's like a firm bounce, like a firmer bounce, you know, not super bouncy, but it's okay, you know, there's a nice little rebound back. Here in the forefoot, it's absolutely dead. And I'm not a huge fan of Pro Foam, guys. Pro Foam, I feel like it's way too high density. It's really, really heavy. Like this shoe, like what we'll get into weight, but I mean, it feels super bulky, especially here in the heel. And it feels really, really bottom heavy. And I feel like that's something that Puma needs to just fix on a lot of their shoes. They just killed it in the Puma Clyde All Pro. I'm like pointing there because it's actually right over there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, that's a nice shoe. But like, I feel like with the outsole and the midsole, they just need to work on like R&D, you know, research and development into making some proprietary blends of foam, because it's just a super heavy foam. And but anyways, how it feels pretty nice. It's actually way better than a lot of their other shoes, their other ball shoes, as far as cushioning goes, because the Pro Foam here in the heel is quite thick. And like I mentioned, you know, there's compression. It feels pretty soft. But just how it feels as far as like the weight distribution, which I guess has nothing to do with cushion right now, it just doesn't feel that nice, you know? All right, as far as the materials go, so materials, we got an engineered mesh, it says on their website. We got some synthetic suede overlays, and I don't know why it's synthetic suede. Even if it isn't synthetic suede, if it's real suede, it feels like really cheap suede. So you're getting that on a $175 shoe. And then here on the lateral side, it says Puma with some Flywire type cables. And obviously that's going to help with lateral containment as well. And then here in the heel, we got some of the same really crappy feeling suede. The engineered mesh here in the toe box feels pretty nice. You know, it's thin, it conforms to your foot. It also feels really supportive. There's no stretch to the material at all. And here where the tongue's supposed to be, we have a foam back mesh, and it's actually quite thick. It's well padded. Obviously it needs to be well padded because of the lacing system, which we'll get into. And then here in the heel, we have a good amount of padding as well. So that feels nice on foot, and the materials feel nice. You know, I feel like it'll get the job done, and it feels minimal and all that. All right, so for the lacing system, right? So it's the Puma's disc technology, basically just like BOA. If you guys have ever like been snowboarding or I guess skiing, they have this type of system on a lot of their boots, which is super convenient, right? So we got 2 discs. That's why it's called the double disc. We got one here in the midfoot where the tongue's supposed to be, and we also have one here in the heel, right? So it's a little bit different than the BOA lacing system. So BOA, usually you have to push it in, and then when you push it in, it clicks, and then you tighten it by rotating it clockwise. And then if you want to loosen it up, you just pull it, and then it just loosens up, and you just, you know, kind of like open the tongue up and you're good to go, right? The Puma is a little bit different, right? So if you want to tighten it up, you rotate it clockwise. That's basically the same thing. But then if you want to loosen it up, you just quarter turn it to the left, you know, counterclockwise, and that's it. It's loose, and then you can just like loosen it all the way up, which is, I feel like it's a little bit more convenient. It's just a quarter turn to the left. So the disc here in the midfoot, it's basically controlling these wires, and I don't like how thin these wires are because this material is quite thin, right? And then if you tighten this really thin cable over your foot with a material that's very thin, it's pretty uncomfortable, you know? So I wish they would have made the wires a little bit thicker. But for the most part, I mean, you can really crank this down, right? It's to the point where it hurts really bad. So you have to like kind of find like where the sweet spot is. But here in the midfoot, it basically just tightens this part with this plastic piece, and then just like tightens there. And then here in the back of the heel, this cable is actually connected to the cables here in the forefoot, right? So the forefoot actually tightens down, which feels awesome. I like that extra lockdown. And one thing that I thought it also did is like kind of push the heel in, so you have better heel lockdown, but it actually doesn't do that because there is an internal TPU heel counter. So this doesn't really move in at all when you tighten it. So it's basically just the forefoot tightening, but it's still a really cool system. You know, you got an independent forefoot lacing system and an independent midfoot lacing system, so you can like kind of adjust according to how you like it. So it's more of a customizable fit, which is really dope. So overall, it's super convenient and also very easy to put on because it is a one booty upper. We have a high heel tab. The tongue opens up a good amount, so you just slide your foot in, and then once it's in, you just tighten it very easily and very quickly. You know, you just turn the discs and you tighten it to however tight you want, and it's just super convenient. I really like it. One thing that I would change though is make the wires a little bit thicker, you know, or maybe make the material a little bit thicker where the cables are. That's also another fix, but other than that, I really like the lacing system. All right, as far as the fit goes, I went true to size and it fits me very well. I would say it's a little bit long, just a tiny bit, but I wouldn't justify going down half a size. I feel like it'd be a little too tight if I did that. As far as the toe space goes, it's a little snug. There's a little bit of toe space. You know, it's not as snug as I would like. You know, my type of fit, or like the type of fit that I want in my shoes, like the Kyrie 7, the KD 13, which is like really tight in the toe box. So if you want a little looser fit here in the toe box, this is a nicer option, but it's not to the point where it's like way too roomy and way too much dead space, you know? And the width wise, I would say it's around normal. So fit was pretty good for me. And I also really like the extra lockdown that you get from the lacing system. All right, as for support and lockdown, I mean, this shoe seems like it's gonna be really good. So here in the forefoot, we have this plastic piece, you know, this pink plastic piece coming up. We have the synthetic suede material and also the cables. So when you tighten the cables, it kind of like tightens like in your forefoot, as well as here on the lateral side. And then here in the heel and in the forefoot, we have the foam coming up quite a bit. So I feel like lateral containment is going to be really good. And as for lateral stability, it doesn't look like it's the widest shoe ever, but and also there's really no outrigger. So we'll have to see on that, but I feel like it'll be okay. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. I don't know, guys, this shoe feels really heavy to me. So I'm guessing like 14 ounces, guys. All right, let's see. 15.84 freaking ounces, dude. Holy crap. Yeah, so that's it's just, I've been getting really heavy shoes, man. The Harden Volume 5 was like 16.2. This is 15.8. So yeah, it's not a light feeling shoe. It feels heavy, it feels bulky, especially here in the heel. And I feel like that just has ultimately all to do with the midsole and the outsole. I don't think the disc and the materials add like that much weight, guys. Like I said, they definitely need to invest in some R&D and make some new foams, you know, because like Nike, if you look at their shoes like Lunarlon, React, Cushlon, they're all really low density foams and they don't contribute that much overall weight to the shoe. But I mean, Pro foam. It's super heavy, and then like the outsole that they're using is just really thick. It looks like. So yeah, I mean, it's not feeling too good for the weight department. All right, as for the aesthetics, yeah, no, don't really like how it looks. Like I always say, I just like traditional laces better as far as aesthetics go. I like shoes that don't have laces or that have like weird things going on with it don't look as good to me for some reason. But you know, that's just my opinion. And also the colorway is kind of weird, like pink and volt. You know, that's yeah. But I'm gonna be playing outside, so I got the darker colorway. I didn't want to get the white one because it'll get super dirty, you know. But anyways, tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, it's looking okay. You know, I'm not liking it all too much. It's super heavy, it's super bulky, feels very, very bottom heavy. But there are some pluses, you know. The traction seems good and durable, materials are thin, and I really like the lacing systems. So of course, I'm gonna need to test it out, and we're gonna need to wait for the review. My first impressions of the shoe, especially for the price, 175 bucks, aren't like the best. Anyways, there's my first impressions. Again, if you guys want to cop this shoe, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.